What's up, everyone? CryptoSavy here. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We did get our little Super Bowl pump yesterday that we were talking about. Now we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and Litecoin again. Also, I'm going to throw in the Dow Jones gold and silver real quick today. But yeah, don't forget, we got a free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out, guys. And let's get on with the video. All right, guys, as always, I want to remind you, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice, trading advice, nor is it investing advice. There is a disclaimer scrolling on the bottom. Read it, and always remember, this is my opinion, not yours. All right, let's get into it. Looking at the headlines for Bitcoin today, Minecraft treasure hunt, Satoshi Quest will cost you $1. It's like a pool thing, whatever. Coronavirus fears could see Bitcoin explode in value. Bitcoin price forms golden cross as China panic prints 170 billion. Bitcoin's coming. Decisive price movement. Bitcoin price analysis. Bulls aim higher at 9,700. We've been talking about 9,700 on this channel for over a week. The last time Bitcoin showed this formation, it dropped. So more bullish than bearish, but we're getting a little bit of mixed signal in the headlines. Let's look at the fear and greed index. We're at 59. 59 on greed. We have raised 2 points from yesterday, so the market's getting a little bit greedy. The longs versus shorts on Bitfinex, BitMEX, and Binance combined is the longs are 67.5%. Shorts are 32.5%. So are we going to get a long squeeze? Possibly. Let's take a look at Dow Jones, then we'll get into Bitcoin and Litecoin. So the Dow, we did have a nice little dump on Friday. Let's see how the market opens. We could bounce back from here, but I think we're most likely headed down to the 27.2, 27.3 area. That would bring the RSI back down. We'll see how that works out. But also, you need to look at, we're getting some hidden bullish divergence here from a higher low here, lower low here. So that's what I'm looking at. Looks like we're possibly coming down. If you guys have been watching the channel, once a week I'll go over this stuff. I do have a high. These are my two targets for the Dow. If we continue up from here, we could be coming down to, this gets us around the 27.8 to 27.9 area to retest the top of this trend line here. That could be where we get a bounce. We'll check it out. We'll keep informed on what's going on. We were looking at this as a possible head and shoulders, or inverse head and shoulders. We did get a higher peak here, so still looks possible. I guess I could redraw that now, but I'm not going to waste too much time. I'm just going to try to go over this stuff real quick. Now on gold, we've had our targets. We've hit our 1584, and we've came back to it, stuck around that area now. If we do correct back down, we could go as low as 1460 here to retest the top of this channel, which would also be the 200 EMA. But I would expect to most likely, if we did fall, to get support around the 1530 area, bounce from there. I still see gold going up to that 1740 area. Let's look at silver. Silver, as we have been looking at this for quite some time as a possible Adam and Eve formation, with the neckline being around the $20.70 range. Zoom in a little bit closer to the immediate price action. So we have some targets here. Looking at this as a rising or a falling wedge. We had made a measured move here, brought it over, and that gets us to the 1970 area. We also, if we do keep correcting here, which is a possibility, we might get down to the $17 area before a bounce. So keep an eye on that. But yeah, I do see us going up to at least this 1970 within the next, I'd say, month or two. And then if we break this neckline, we could see a huge silver rally. If we break this next neckline, I do have this target measuring this as a flagpole. This is being a big flag up to the 22 14 area, then I would expect a retest of this neckline, and the measured move of the Adam and Eve is all the way up to that $27, $28 range. So that's what I'm looking at with silver. Let's get on to Bitcoin. As you know, Bitcoin, we had been talking about this for quite some time. I have this falling channel that we were in our bearish falling channel, and we had this 9,200 here, and I said if we closed the monthly above that, we would be pretty damn bullish, and there we are. We did close the monthly above it. This month is going to be key. Remember, guys, we could come all the way back down and retest this 8 EMA, which is also around the right around the $8,500 to $8,600 range. Test the top of this before continuing up. This is the monthly. A lot can happen in this candle, but I am expecting a good month overall. Not to say we don't have a little bit of bearish action before then. Also, I want to take a look at the weekly. And as you guys know, I have this bottom trend line on the... We have the support line right here. I cloned this line, put it up to the top of this wick. And reason being, guys, I didn't see breakout volume. I know everybody has this as a falling wedge. But if we look here, we really never had any breakout volume. I believe if we do break this around the $96.75, $9,700 range in this weekly candle, we should get some huge volume out of that. We'll keep an eye on that. The next stop up here is the around the $10,100 range, which is the 0.5 retracement of this move. And then, as you guys know, I've really been watching this 11-1, and that's what's on the thumbnail. What I believe we could be looking at is an A, B, C, D, E triangle. And I'm looking for a possible rejection here. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but this 11-1, we could hit that by the very end of February, maybe beginning of March. If we do, I'm looking for rejection there and a possible retest of this bottom trend line, which is going to be around the 78 to 8,000 range, and then a bounce from there. Reason being, if you look at this time frame, that's going to be right around the halving time, guys. So that makes a lot of sense to me right now. But if we do break above this top trend line coming off these peaks, I would say that's going to be bullish as hell. Yeah, just the beginning of a huge bull run at that point, in my opinion. Let's look at the let's look at the EMAs first. EMAs are crossing bullish. We've been talking about this. And our 13 did cross our 21 here yesterday for the weekly. So that is bullish. Remember, guys, this is the weekly. We could still have some downward movement. There's a lot of room for this candle to do whatever it wants still. Let's look at the RSI. Same thing in the RSI. I've drawn the trend line that matches our triangle up here, or our wedge, whatever you want to call it. I believe that's symmetrical triangle. And the same thing within the RSI here on the weekly. Another thing I want to point out is back here in 2013, we capitulated past this red line, broke back above it. 2015, tested it for support, and that ran us up to our 2017 bull run. 2018 bear market, capitulated under that trend line again, broke back above it. 2019 came back down, tested it, and I do believe this is going to be huge, guys. But keep in mind, make sure you draw this RSI in too, because I think what we may be seeing is something like this, just like I showed you in the price action, and then off to the races. Obviously, the RSI won't go that high, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Keep in mind, you know, we could break this time, come up here and ride the top of this, and, you know, that could be our bull run. But that's what I'm looking at right now. Let's look at the daily. So on the daily, you can see I got fibs all over the place, but I will show you what that is. The 0.65 to 0.618 retracement is right up here, guys, around that $11,100 range, give or take. We could go as low as $11,050, as high as $11,300, and still remain within this golden pocket zone. So Like I said, we had our move up yesterday. We are getting a rejection candle on the daily, but this is a daily. This can all turn around. I want to keep in mind too that the bearish case scenario, guys, would be measuring from this swing low to this swing high. The Fibonacci retracement, I don't have it on here, but it is at 5,400. That is the worst case scenario, in my opinion. It's getting less and less likely the further we go on here. So I'm not looking at this as much. I never really was. I just wanted to point that out. But I do believe it's possible we get this leg up and continue up to the 10.4. If you look at where we're at here, this is the 0.382 fib. We are still getting support on that. If that breaks, if we break down past the 82.50 range, we're most likely headed down to the 88.64 range. And if you look, that would be the 20 EMA. But I don't know. We could go down there, but this is giving pretty good support here, guys. I think we're going to have our next leg up. And I'll show you in the 4 hour what I'm looking at. But we talked about this on the daily too. Our 55 has crossed our 200 EMA. That's bullish, very bullish. Let's look at the RSI. Looking at the RSI, we do have room for another push up to test the top of this channel. And that could be that $10,000 range. So keep that in mind. If that breaks, then we would be heading up to test the top of this resistance line on this rising channel. That would, as you can see, we broke out of the red falling channel, and that would be breaking out of the white rising channel. If we did break up here, that could be that all the way up to that $10,000 range that we've been talking about. And that would be looking at, let me show you, what's the best way to do this? Let me show you like this. If we do get up to even the 10 or 10.5, this is what I'm looking at a possibility of, and it matches up with what I just showed you. This being an inverse head and shoulder, this being the left shoulder, this being the head. If we go to 10 or even 10.5 for that matter, this could be the left shoulder coming all the way back down to test this area and then our breakout. So keep that in mind. I am definitely looking at that. I'm looking at, you know, even if we get up to that 11.1, that could still be an inverse head and shoulders, something like this, and come up to here and then have our break. So it would be on a little angle, which is possible, guys. So keep that in mind. That 11.1 is really catching my eye, but if that breaks, I think it'll be pretty damn bullish. Let's go into 4 hour. So looking at the 4 hour, obviously you can see our huge rejection candle from our little Super Bowl rally. And you can see in our RSI, we have this falling channel. Looks like we could come down and touch this bottom of this red rising channel. Possibly. It doesn't have to, guys. And if you guys have been watching, you know I have these three lines right here as support and resistance lines for this channel. And how I got that is I went from each wick here on this resistance or support line. I cloned this line and put it off of this wick here, off of this wick here, and off of this wick here. And we had talked about that being support and resistance, getting through to the top up here, and that is exactly what happened. We were getting resistance on this one, broke through, it became support, moved up to the next one here. We did have a breakthrough, came back down, and we're still playing with it just like we did over here. If we do drop back down, I see it possibly, you know, we could be going to the 91.40 range, which is the 55 EMA here, before continuing up. But this line could hold, guys. If this does hold, we are probably headed back up to that $9,600 to $9,700 range. And as you guys know how I've been looking at this, using Elliott Wave, which I do not depend on Elliott Wave, and I don't suggest anyone else does, but it's a good tool to have in your toolbox. At times it works, but if you watch Elliott Waivers, you can watch 10 different Elliott Waivers, and they'll have 10 different scenarios, and most of them never play out. But then Elliott Wave works great in past tense. But anyways, this one's playing out pretty good, and we've been talking about this for weeks. This could have been the end of wave 5 here, or we get an extended one up to 10 or possibly even 10.5. That 10.5 is looking really possible to me, guys. But let me show you what happens if that was the top. Then we'll put the fibs on this whole move. Well, I already did right here. From the swing low to this being the swing high. If we came back to the 0.236 would be around the 8,700, which would stay in this dotted line, this rising wedge. Worst case scenario, we come down to this 8.5 here at around the 8,038 range, and then that would be a great position for long. If you guys are interested in trading, I do have some links down below for some exchanges. I have Prime XBT and Bybit. I'll leave a Bybit tutorial up top also. But if you use my links down below, you get a sign up bonus. So if you sign up, make a deposit, you get a bonus on top of that, so you can trade with their bonus money. Yeah, check it out. Doesn't cost you anything to trade with their money. But anyways, let's look at... Yeah, that's where I'm at, guys. It's looking like we possibly get another leg up here. The EMAs are turning a little bearish here. But obviously, we're getting support on this line. I think we come up and test this line again. And then go from there. If we can break through this line, then we're looking at that, 10.5 or 10,000 to 10.5 range. So overall, in the bigger picture, I'm definitely bullish. Midterm bullish, and then possibly bearish for if we get rejection around that 11.1 area. So keep that in mind. That's what I'm looking at. Let's look at the RSI. Give it a quick look. And in the RSI, as you can see, we are in the rising channel here. This was a rising broadening wedge. I leave it there just so you guys can see, for those that haven't seen it. We watched this for about a week for it to break down. It finally broke down, came back up, tested it, and we are in this falling channel. Now, falling channels are usually bullish. We could come up and break this today. And if we came up all the way, let me extend this. We came up all the way to either retest the bottom of this rising wedge or the top of this channel. That would go along with that 10.5 to 11.1 if we went up that high. But that's what I'm looking at. That's where I'm at today. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin, same thing. We've hit our target that, last week at $70, and we are getting support there. EMAs on the 4-hour look pretty good. If we can maintain this $69 range, which is the 21 EMA. If not, we're most likely going to retest the $66 range. Same thing with Litecoin. I'm still looking for the $75 range. We almost hit that yesterday. And let me show you what else I'm looking at. Also, just like in Bitcoin, I was looking at this as a 5-wave structure. This could be an extended 5th. If it's over, we would go from the swing low, which is right here, to the swing high. If it's over, guys. I don't think it is. We could be coming back down. The 0.236 would be right around the 64.25. The 0.382 would be around 59, and the 0.5 would be right around the $55 range. So if this is finished, the worst case scenario, we retrace to the $54, $55 range and then continue up from there. These 5 waves would be making 1 and then 2, and then we go for 3, which would be a huge wave. But it is possible, guys. I'm still looking for more upward movement here. I could be wrong, but this looks still like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 5th wave could extend all the way up to $90 area, all the way to $80 range is another support and resistance area. But that's what I'm looking at, guys. I still think there's more to go. And looking at the RSI on the 4-hour, I just drew these in kind of just to watch these two lines here as a rising broadening wedge, which is a possibility. But yeah, it is still looking bullish to me, guys, unless we come down and test this bottom trend line. Like I said, we could come all the way down to 59 and remain in it and then our next leg up. But I'm still bullish here, guys. Yeah, let's look at the daily in Litecoin. I should have looked at that first. These lines out of here. So like I said, but it's looking, if we look at this in the daily, it looks kind of bearish on Litecoin. We're getting some major rejection wicks. But like I said, let's watch for this 66. If we get down to the 66 and it holds, I think we got much higher to go. Looking at the daily RSI, we had this falling channel we broke out of, and we are in what seems to be a rising wedge. And guys, if you look at this, it looks like we have one more leg up here, and that could be up to this 75. And then if it gets rejected, come back and test the top of this falling channel again, and then maybe another attempt. Or if it breaks, then that's the bearish case. We could be coming all the way back down to this $54 to $55 range, that being this wave done. But if we break this top white line on the RSI, which we do have room, it's only at 78. We do have room to break up, and then we're looking at towards that $90 range, guys. So yeah, I'm still bullish here for the medium term. Short term, we may have a little bit more down movement the next day or so, but overall for the medium term, I'm definitely still looking for another leg up, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Really helps the channel out. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I'm out. I will see you guys later. Take it easy.